I call the Planning Commission meeting to order today. We do have a public hearing scheduled, and that's usually we'll start our business. I do have to administer an oath to anyone who plans at speaking either during the meeting or during the public hearing. All you have to do is say "I do" after I administer the oath. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth to this commission? Thank you. We'll start off, like I said, on the public hearing on Madison Heights. This is at 252 East State Street. It is being requested as a PUD. It is being brought forth by Diversified Properties. And I think it might be helpful, John, it's been a long time since we've all been able to meet together again on, could you just give us a brief summary, if you will, of the Madison Heights project? And
well, I can, and as you know...
Emphasis on the brief, so.
It's on brief. This has been through here a few times before for different proposals, and this proposal is now requesting that it's basically a subdivision, fee simple lots and individual houses. It still will have access off of the existing little drive that comes off of Madison right now. I believe there are 7 lots total, 7 lots total on the project. And the last time they were here, we just discussed about, we know it'll take a variance through council because it's less than 2 acres for a PUD. And then we requested that they submit us drawings in regards to where the houses are going to sit on the property, because it's not variances, but we just want to point out that some of the setbacks, lot sizes, etc., will not meet the requirements of our code, but that's permissible in a PUD. I have since, and I distributed to you this morning, or just now, a letter from Andy Stone, the Director of Public Works, and he's got a 2 or 3 page article there, or letter there, with some of his concerns for the project. And I don't know if you want to read through that, or if you'd like for me to read it, or it's rather lengthy. So he basically has concerns about the way the water and sewer lines were the way they were approved before versus now that they're fee simple lots. He wants them to be more dedicated into the right of way that's out, or that easement that's out front, the access easement, as well as the storm sewer. And he does have his concerns about the width of the ingress and egress road, to summarize the
right.
And he does have, he voices his concerns towards the homeowners, his homeowners organization at the property location as well. So he'd prefer to see the utilities are not really associated with that type of organization, so that he knows who can be held responsible for fixing something if it had to be fixed. But he is more than willing to speak at the next meeting. I believe today the applicants were requesting just for a public hearing. I do not believe they were requesting a vote today.
Yeah, and we did not place it as one of the cases.
And if we need Andy here next time, then he said he could do so if you have more questions for him. But,
okay.
I see he has concern about a homeowners association conversion between a condo, which is the original PUD, to a fee simple. His concern, of course, is the less organization implied in it, I believe. I'm reading his notes.
Nancy?
I was wondering, John, if you could ask Andy if he has any recommendations concerning the slope of the road that would be the out egress.
What we talked about briefly, and that's something that can definitely be discussed, is the possible one-way ingress, egress out of the parcel. Maybe one way going in at the lower level, so that way people weren't trying to access down close to the split or the Y at the bottom down by State Street. Because obviously the street up the top side would not be wide enough for vehicles to pass each other.
Right.
So that's one of the things that we were discussing that we'll look further into.
I thought that was agreed upon earlier.
I think there was a no left-hand turn agreement out of there before on the previous approvals. I don't know if there was anything in regards to one way.
Also, the slope, John, I think it's extremely steep coming down that hill, and that way situation with traffic stacked up.
It would be private, so.
I know. It would still be a mess.
Right, right.
A
So
mess, public-private, who cares?
they would be responsible for, that's one of his concerns with the association, is they would be responsible for snow removal, et cetera. So, yeah.
The approved ordinance from City Council from Ordinance 021-09, March 16th, 2009, from the original final plat, one of the requirements, number 3, create a one-way loop with ingress at the lower level only, thus prohibiting a left turn onto Madison at that location,
Okay.
and egress at the upper level.
That's what we were talking about.
Yeah,
Okay.
so that was what was approved in the past.
Right.
When it was a condo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
It was a planned unit development condominium project.
So I think we'd still be looking at that same requirement.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it seemed like it with a 10-foot size. RJ, did you say?
I'm just, I understand what the intent originally was in asking for the ingress down at the lower end. I don't really see the benefit of allowing for even like a right-hand turn out of the bottom if the whole idea is to try to keep that bottom, the intersection of Madison and State, as congestion-free as possible if somebody is still allowed to take that ingress and turn up Madison, if I'm understanding correctly. Or they can only go into...
The council requirement, it was a one-way loop, so you could
Right.
only, you could go in on the bottom and then you
Okay.
drive around. Yeah, that
Right,
was it.
okay.
And I believe that's what that the planning
Right.
commission recommended too.
How could we enforce that if it's a private road?
Can signage, encourage signage and
Yeah.
deal with it from that point.
Okay.
I don't think.
If there's an accident, then.
Can I bring up my site plan?
Yeah, go ahead.
The other question I've had, and I broached it early on in the development of the project, was the sight line that's currently obstructed by the retaining wall on the corner of Madison and East State. And I was wondering if the developers could do something to, I guess, eliminate a portion of that, the tip of that area, if I'm understanding correctly, where people will have better sight lines as they come down Madison and want to make a turn left onto East State, and similarly, if people are driving on East State and want to make a right onto Madison. Right now, that retaining wall, you have to basically stretch your car a little bit almost into the road on East State Street to really be able to see any type of oncoming traffic that might be coming from East State Street, the shopping center side. And I was just wondering if that corner could be cut in some way as part of the sightline correction, to make things a little bit more efficient in there.
You're talking about the retaining wall to the...
Right at the corner.
I think we should just keep these types of comments part of the record and
Yeah.
provide that to the developer since they're not present.
True.
But yeah, that's information that should be conveyed to them, and as a planned unit development, if there's concerns about it, they should be able to address those for the commissioners. I think in response to the question about how can we deal with the people going the wrong way on the one-way loop, it is possible to do curb design so that it makes it extremely difficult for you to make a right turn. That could be designed as such, so if you try to make a right turn, you're going to hop over a 6-inch or 9-inch curb. So,
Okay.
And I just asked that about that and the retaining wall with the idea that you have not just vehicular traffic, but, everything kind of comes to a head from a pedestrian,
Yeah.
bicycle / vehicle standpoint. And,
you're referencing to the retaining wall that's at the corner?
yeah,
Where the flower shop is, that
Right.
supports the flower shop?
right.
Okay.
And if that could be taken in to where there would be a better sight line, where people could see a little bit
Okay.
more around that corner.
All right, well, let's bring that up at the, next time there's a case, or at least the property owners are available. This time, are there any comments from those sitting in the audience? if you would, I believe our microphone is working at the table. You can take a seat there, or it's usually always working at the podium, too. Just state your name and street. Okay, I apologize. Sorry. Just state your name and street that you live on.
Chris Nisley, 24 Old Coach Road. A question, as I understand, there will be a new design submitted then for the 7-house subdivision. And my question is, a similar size subdivision on the south end of town had plans for shared driveway to reduce the amount of impervious surfaces, especially with it being on a sloped space. So a question if that would be incorporated or could be, and then also whether or not sidewalks would be incorporated within the plans. Thank you.
Thank you.
Actually, I was under the impression that the footprint of the buildings wasn't going to change that much. Am I wrong on that?
They've separated what would have been similar to what they did over on Herald Square, Westfield, and have, on the new drawing, indicated a dotted area where the proposed buildings will go, but I have yet to receive a footprint of what those individual homes will be. Whether it's that same model that's a separated unit or what, I don't know, but they have a parameter, and obviously you'll have one street accessing all of them. That's this narrow drive we're talking about, the one way. And then, Ms. Nisley's point, there may be shared driveways going to 2 garages on them. That's something we can definitely share with them.
Okay.
And sidewalks? I don't think they...
I don't think they had sidewalks, but that's definitely something that we can propose to them as well.
Okay. Any other comments? All right, at this time, I'll close the public hearing, and we'll proceed with other items on our agenda. Any other discussion about Madison Heights for the time being? All right, thank you. Disposition of the last meeting minutes. I believe they're from June 20th.
Yeah.
From our
Wow,
summer
hasn't it?
recess, yeah. I was absent, so I'll have to abstain, but any other comments or issues?
I don't see anything. It's been such a long time, I
Yeah.
could have forgotten it all, but they look accurate to me, so I'll move that we accept the minutes.
Second.
All right, any opposition? All right.
Just-
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you. The minutes have been approved.
Just one comment there, if you look
Oh.
at, no, the minutes from June 6th have been tabled. It says on the June 20th minutes there, so I don't believe those minutes have ever been approved yet either.
Okay, so we need to get back to those.
Yeah, just make sure we keep those on the agenda.
Thanks.
Okay, again, we have no cases today. Communications, our first one is lot split at 22 Mulligan Road. The applicant is Charles Richmond.
I'll introduce this one if you wish me to do so. It's a little bit tricky, and I'll give you the best scenario I can, and then I'll probably come up there and explain to everybody. But Mr. Richmond currently owns a 2-acre parcel at 22 Mulligan. He's preliminarily requesting that the lot be split into 3 parcels. So there'll be a parcel to the south, south of his existing residence, and a parcel to the north of his existing residence. The parcel to the south, with the exception of the 3-to-1 ratio, it would probably need a variance for that, but it would, other than that, is not an issue really at hand here. The existing structure at 22 would then become its own parcel, its own lot. And then we'd have a third lot, which would be a trapezoidal-shaped parcel at the north end of the property that would not have frontage other than that little corner onto Mulligan, but would have access onto what was referred to as Oak Street in the old Allendale subdivision before the freeway went in. So we have reviewed this internally, and it meets all the qualifications. Police and fire are okay with it. Andy and I have looked at it. But the dilemma we have here is the house to the east, or excuse me, to the west of it, at 20 Mulligan, and then we'd have this house at 22. So we have a new lot being formed in between those two lots that we would not have a number to address a potential house being built there. And then the new lot to the south, if you look at the last page, I believe it is, of the second to last page of the packet I gave
Yeah.
you, you can see where 22 is. Well, the very next house to the south of us is, on that side, is addressed as 26.
Right, and there's
Currently
lots already
two
in
lots
there,
that
yeah.
are sitting there for sale, that, assuming that we give it 24, we do not have then a number available for the lot for the third lot that would be developed on Mr. Richmond's property.
Well, who split the lots from, were those lots previously split from 26 or from 22?
My guess is these were all originally platted lots and have been for quite some time down through there. So, I mean, what we're encountering here is that the lot split, basically, with the exception of the 3-to-1 ratio, but you can see all the lots down through there are probably exceeding the 3-to-1 ratio, meet all the qualifications of the city to be a lot split, but we have some real dilemmas on our hand with the addressing through there. So what would likely have to be done is a new name assigned to the old Oak Street Road that would be a dead end, basically.
Right.
And then access to the new trapezoidal parcel to the north would be off of that road. And the readdressing of 20 Mulligan to whatever this new road will be and a number assigned to it. Then 22 would have to be readdressed to 20, allowing us then to put 24 or 22 and 24 on those lots that are currently for sale in between, if somebody ever developed there. So, I informed Mr. Richmond that we'd bring it here as kind of a communication to kind of get a feel where the planning commission stood on the lot split. It's not a formal application as of yet. Obviously, the cost of the surveying would be extensive on this one. So we just thought we'd bring it to everyone's attention as to what may be occurring here. We have done this before as far as readdressing people. I know it's not a pleasurable situation for the people that have been living in the houses for many of years, but in any instance, we may have some readdressing issues going on even with the lots between 22 and 26 as it exists. So, because there are two parcels there that are for sale, both platted lots that both meet the requirements of the city to build homes on. So, there's a probability that we have an issue on our hands no matter whether the split is approved or denied, that we have an addressing issue here. I did look a little farther to the south. You can see from 26 to 38, we do have some room that if we wanted to readjust 26, but I really hate to do that because they're lining up with the addresses across the street, and we don't want to get into having to do both sides of the street.
What happens in let's find a better example here. Let's say 15, 17, and 19 there on Mulligan. What happens if 15 were to split into two lots? I mean, in a typical...
Well, as you can see there, you got 11 and 15, and there was another lot in between that would have been 13 had there.
Right.
So we only hope that it works, but I can tell you right now, we've got a few instances on East State Street right now, and we've had a few instances in other locations
Right.
around town when developments occurred. I think many of you know that Herald Square was an interesting situation for us when it was developed with the addressing. So it happens, and it's not pleasant for those involved, but unfortunately, at times we have to do some restructuring of addresses to accommodate new infill, so to speak. And I do know that the 911 emergency services are very opposed to the haves and the A's and B's and so on and so forth, as is the fire department and the police departments. So we're trying to avoid that the best we can these days. And then obviously, it would take council action for the street, because it was Oak Street is what it's actually platted as. Well, we don't want another Oak Street in town, we already have one, and this would be basically a two-house dead end for this one.
So,
Well, would they have to improve Oak Street as well to do the lot
It's
split?
only
I
two
don't see how you-
properties on it. It would probably just be a maintenance agreement drawn up between the owner of 20 and the new parcel that would be split off. Basically be 50/50 maintenance agreement between the two as far as maintaining it. I do believe the residents of 20 use that now as their access to their driveway. Basically are using it as their driveway to get into their house, so, in that right of way.
But the city owns the right-of-way right now.
Correct.
yeah, but it's on an improved right-of-way.
No,
Is-
I see.
That is correct.
I get you.
I think the policy is if somebody wants to improve it, we split the costs.
Andy
It has
has
to come up to spec.
they have when there's two parcels like that, the Engineering Public Works has some sort of a maintenance agreement that can be drawn up where the property owners agree to maintain the right-of-way for their benefit, and I don't believe, do anything with it at that point. They're agreeing to assume all responsibilities on the cost of the drive, basically.
So, quickly, can you run through what you're talking about changing? You're talking about taking one lot, the trapezoidal one, turning it into a oak or unknown oak.
The very last page, probably.
This one right here? Okay.
Yes. This here is the current parcel that we're talking about.
Okay, 22, yeah.
22, so it would be split right here. And
Yeah.
You see that lot very much coincides with the size of the other ones down through there, as with this lot.
Okay.
That's where the house is at. And then this would be the residual piece that
Yeah.
you would access off of Mulligan, and this is the drive platted for the...
Okay, so this one turns into quasi-pseudo oak. This one stays 22?
I think we probably have to change that one to 20, which is what this one is.
So 20 turns into what then?
It would be whatever road.
Oh, it turns into one of these.
Yeah.
So we're going to end up with this road with two
This
two
house
houses.
and whatever's possibly built there, yes.
Okay.
So, and then this becomes in the future 24, and then these lots that are currently for sale become 26. And then the next one there is 28.
Well, and it seems like
Okay.
if you're gonna go through the exercise there to upset neighbors, you might as well just fix Mulligan. Because if you go down these are messed up here. That one's okay, right? 13, but then you got 14 here, and you got 15, 15, 15.
Well,
No, isn't, that's another street, isn't it?
those do not conform to existing lots.
Oh, these don't?
Yeah,
Okay.
we wanna stay
Oh,
away
this
from
is
that.
a split
It's all
area.
one house, so I think we're okay
Okay.
on everything else.
Is the property, just out of curiosity, this little slit here, is that part of 25 then? It
Yeah,
surrounds-
it is. It comes out through there, right, for access to get back in there. I know we've looked at that at one time, that if this was to ever get split like this would be 25, and then this parcel back here with this easement coming in here would be 31, I think it fits in there. Because this gentleman has approached me at 25 as well about doing a lot split. Coming maybe from that corner back, but if he were to look at the parcel, it would be very difficult. Great.
Well, but are we looking at the suitability of building when we determine a lot split? It's not really our position.
But we are the planning commission, and this looks like something that needs a little planning.
Okay. You have a recommendation, Nancy?
Well, I don't especially like bumping all the numbers, because for the convenience of somebody who wants to develop what looks to me to be not a very good house. I'd like to know what's going to happen to the internal parcel, which is downhill. I'd like to know what's going to happen to the strip along the highway. I'm sure all the people who had it before were compensated for their access. And it's probably right away for ODOT, really, don't you think? But, it looks kind of like somebody could come in and make a little T road in there and develop that internal section. It might look like some of our finer developments in this town.
I'd have to look at the contour maps of that, I guess.
Well, look at the trees versus not trees, and you can pretty
Yeah.
much tell what's going on.
Yeah, trees are probably
I
pretty
mean,
similar.
and so we have all these people who are splitting, And if you drive down Curtis Street to the end, you can see the results of that and how awful it looks. It would be better to have a more established plan, in my opinion, if I were God, but I'm not. So in the meantime, how big is the first lot, the lot that is furthest to the east? Is it 1.99 acres?
The total parcel, everything
Is 2, right?
is,
Is 1.99.
well, it's 2.28.
Oh.
You got the 1.99, I'm sorry, and then you got the .290, the northern piece of the trapezoidal part needs to be attached to that as well.
So what would prevent that lot from being split?
Which one?
The furthest to the east, the one that is the big chunk,
22.
22, I don't know.
What would prevent it from being split?
And then
If
you'd have
it met the
5, 6, 7.
requirements of
You know, the road numbering, I mean, I've been
Right.
through that a certain number of times, who cares? I mean, that's something that gets, a detail that gets worked out later. But more importantly is how many access places are we going to have onto Mulligan, and, you know, what kind of a city are we building here?
Okay, but I don't think they would have enough frontage.
It says
If you-
232, doesn't it? So they're going to split it there?
Well, okay, so 232, I assume that we're subtracting 85 from it already, right?
I have no idea.
And then, if I look at the next page, which is lot number, 2 pages
Yeah,
down, lot number
232 would
3.
be minus the 85.
We don't have an engineer's actual survey here at all? We just have people drawing on?
This is just communication.
Ah.
So if you know,
Yes.
it still has to go get a variance. I assume the variance goes to the zoning board of appeals for this, or?
No, the variance
Subdivision.
subdivision for the
It's
1-to-3 ratio come here and then the city council.
Approves it.
See, and then the other part of it is, if you know that area, and my kid used to cut the grass at 20 a lot, so I'd be up there waiting for him, and, you know, the way it looks on the ground versus the way it looks on this flat map, quite different, quite different. And I just have a hard time. The house at 20 has been there for a long period of time and faces Mulligan. And why on earth should we inconvenience that person? Why don't we just put the 2 new numbers on?
Well, I think whatever is on.
Oh, no,
that-
I'm talking about house numbering, what the heck?
Whatever that is on Oak Street would have to get demolished because you'd have an accessory structure
Yes,
without
and he
a.
knows that the accessory structure
We're
as
going to have 3 new lots, that little bitty house there is going to go?
the
I think it's
garage
a
that would
shed.
be on the trapezoidal lot would be a requirement that it would have to be tore down or get a variance because you cannot have an accessory structure on a lot without a primary structure.
You know, if I were living next door to this and saw that. So, you know, just get that out of the mix. Just say, put both of those lots onto that other street because they can be faced that way. I don't really know what the best answer is, but it seems to me, who owns that central parcel there, that central parcel?
This must be
Between Curtis and Mulligan?
Richmond, no?
The one way down here, this one right here?
Oh, the central in the middle. I have no idea.
Yeah.
You're talking about that big parcel at
Yeah.
the middle of Curtis.
The,
That'll probably be James Wynn's property, that's a 6-acre parcel.
if you'd like to, he's the applicant if you guys want to.
No, I just want to know who owned it. I just want to make sure we're going to have, you know, a T in there, like they do in country time, I mean, divisions. Oh, guess what's happening? We're going to build a new place in there. I mean, it just seems like we're doing this pretty haphazardly. I mean, it's not our problem, the application of subdivision regulations. But this is not being done, these new lots are not on a developed road, are they? Isn't it say we have to have a developed road, or does it just say a right-of-way?
It says right away.
It says right-of-way?
It says
Yeah,
access
that's
on
how
the platted street.
Oh, that's great. I know some places where some
Yeah.
people, if they're really cagey, could build some more.
So,
Yeah, I mean, we've, I think, come up with this issue before. I mean, that's just the fact. This was a platted subdivision with, you know, Oak Street just being a right-of-way, and it never became any more.
Wasn't Oak
yeah.
one of the ones that was cut off when they put the bypass?
yes.
Yeah, you can see the,
Yeah, but I mean, I don't
Residuals
think it
there.
ever was.
those, okay, so for assurances, John, they could not
Improved.
build in that swath that goes around that cloverleaf section, right?
That swath that goes around the Cloverleaf section is actually owned by ODOT.
That's what I was
Sure.
asking.
So,
Okay.
no, they would not be able to do that.
So we're creating a landlocked parcel in the center, or does Mr. Wynn?
Unless it has access to Curtis Street, it already is landlocked.
It's just more landlocked now.
There has to be access to it.
You would,
I don't know where it's other.
No such thing as land.
right.
What's the minimum width for a new subdivision? Is 70 feet?
66,
What is it?
66 feet,
66?
8,000 square foot lot.
Okay.
So,
Madison Heights question.
So they, okay.
And the width is taking along the street frontage, the front
yes.
setback, I guess, or how you would describe it.
That 232, that's going to,
See,
that distance is from where to where? Is that a long mole?
that would be
Mulligan?
the point from Oak Street basically to down Mulligan, running southeast.
Okay. So if my math's correct and you take 85 out, you still have 147, so you got...
That would be the residual for the existing structure, if I'm correct on that.
Mhm.
Okay.
So 313307 is not usable and is not to be considered in this, right? Yeah, why wouldn't we ask Mr. Richmond to go and ask somebody who's a surveyor to figure out how to get 3 lots out of this that makes sense instead of kind of dealing with rulers on a plat? I mean, ones that would be good, that would be more sellable probably than rulers on a plat.
Well, that's why we're here today. I mean, this is communication. If it
Right.
goes and, if he hears what he wants to hear, then he will be required to
I
advance it
hope
to
he's
that
hearing what
level.
I'm saying.
Well, I think one of them that would be, it seems like it would make sense, is at the third, the parcel to the north, the triangle one or trapezoid one. It looks like that currently Richmond does own the next triangle lot over. It'd be, I think if you were going to split that lot to then join those two as a sellable parcel would make the most sense.
Yeah.
Because otherwise that one's just locked out.
I'm not understanding what you're saying.
Come up here, John, sorry.
Well, on this
I think you're
other,
talking about the next triangle. Lawrence.
Yeah,
That's what you're saying.
it'd basically be adding this one to this.
Yes, then that's what I've drawn on the last page. or
Oh,
second to last
okay.
page.
You did draw it that
Yes.
way. I'm sorry.
Join us here. Which page are you talking about?
This piece,
you could probably get,
I guess, yes, I should have probably done.
Oh, see, that makes a lot of sense to me. That's
Yeah,
what I
this
think I was
would be-
confused by how this one was
Well,
going
I'm
to
sorry.
be.
but but it has to be attached to that
This
other
would go
lot,
like
right?
this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I figured out what you were doing. This
This
just
would be
isn't
going-
available,
right.
yeah. Right.
And I think
Why
if
wouldn't we
those
do
were
this?
then split, that would,
Come this way.
I
No,
would
I'm not too
understand
long.
what's
What
going on.
happens to this
You could actually add
spot
another
here?
Get to this one.
I don't know who owns it.
On this right away.
What was
There's
that?
no access
You'd still
to
have
this
to,
parcel right
I mean,
now.
still,
No, no, I
it
meant
would still be the right of way.
Block
yeah.
the,
Okay, but
Knock
that means
that
this
out.
is considered as
And then
this.
Yeah.
You
Just
just put a line there, you have two.
Was that just a-
You can actually split that.
Yeah, you could split, that's what
And then-
is a possibility.
This is
renumber
just
all of
somebody-
them and leave this one 20.
running a line here, and that's not really a little tiny piece of
You can
property,
give this-
or it is.
It's got a-
Yeah.
it's got
Because
a-
because it has the same number as this. That's why I
No,
was just asking.
yeah, I bet you you're right.
An address,
It's probably just,
So,
we always
But,
give the addresses
I
and
don't know.
prices.
yeah, but that wouldn't
Not the way the house
impact
faces,
this.
but where the access is. And they access this house off Otis Drive.
I bet the persons that bought it were pretty good there.
John,
This is moribund right here.
Yeah, we can set up a laptop.
was this just an inadvertent line drawn through there?
It's
There's
got
a plat
parcel
number.
in
Yeah.
there.
Well, because it has the same number as the one up
And
top.
then it's
So what?
If you ask beforehand, we can set it up,
Okay.
have a podium and a laptop.
Yeah, I mean, one of the reasons being on joining this one with, if this new lot is created, joining this lot with that lot, because then these could be split into, at least that minimum of 66, probably be more. I'd be much more agreeable to that type of lot split.
Combining these,
Yeah,
and then whatever house there is.
exactly, but yeah.
I thought that was.
That would be a future lot split on this unknown.
Yeah, this line here
Pseudo
doesn't
street.
exist, but
Right.
just the, yeah.
Reminds me of the county planning commission.
So you want to go like, basically, if you wanted to split like that.
You could split
Comprehensive
that,
plan,
yeah.
infill whenever possible,
Right.
babes. We drew it up. We're stuck with it.
Well, I think
Or not.
possible is a loose word. It has to do with what kind of city we're building, to quote a sage person.
All right, any other comments or
I mean, I
opinions?
agree that if we could leave, if we did it that way, I don't know if the lot is worth looking at, the trapezoidal lot going into two parcels, so that there'd be two addresses at the end of that street and leaving 20 alone. As I indicated, we've always tried to address a house not based on the direction it faces, but based on where the access drive is coming off of.
Right.
Or if there's only one address off of that street, and we've got one in town like that now, I mean, it's not the most ideal though, so.
I think we have two in town, don't we?
Two,
Salem
yeah.
and Green.
Yeah, Salem,
Green.
What about Bryan, too? Has Bryan got two houses?
well, Goldsberry's.
Briarwood. Is that
Oh,
Bryan?
it's got about
Off of Roosevelt, what's
What is
4 or
it?
5.
Okay.
what's that called, One North Park or whatever?
North Hill Drive or something?
North Hill.
Is that one off of Courier too?
So,
That's one, I think Salem, I think it
It is, yeah. You're-
Okay, so what I'm hearing is that you want a better survey, Nancy, is that what I'm hearing?
well, I would like to know, I mean, are these really buildable lots? They're kind of downhill, too.
I'd want to look at it, I think I need to go by and look.
They have slope, but
Well, I was just down.
if somebody wants to pay the money, every lot's buildable. So.
If they follow the hillside ordinance, are we enforcing it at this level?
They would,
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think the lots are
Or,
buildable.
I'm sorry, the table or podium, I apologize for not reminding you.
Podium.
TV land can see you.
I'm Charles Richmond. I'm the one trying to get the lot split. The lots are buildable along the road. There's plenty of road frontage. It's all been mowed and maintained. There's a lot of green space in the back, and we have probably about an acre along the road that's all mowed, not including the house. But they are buildable. I don't know about splitting them in half. The trapezoidal lot, that wasn't my intent. I don't want to do that. On top of that, right in the middle of that lot is a telephone pole, or not a telephone pole, but a power pole with a transformer on it. And I don't know how you could split that with that pole being right in the middle with all the guy wires there.
It's not just a small line, it's a high
Well,
transmission line, or?
It's not three-phase, it's single-phase at that point. There is three-phase on the corner on the 20 Mulligan lot. And that goes up and down the hill, but the pole, it comes off of there, and I believe it feeds 20 Mulligan. And it's right in the middle of that trapezoidal lot. I mean, it's closer to the road, obviously. It's not set back.
Right.
It's right along the road.
Well,
But-
are you talking about, though, if you were to make this lot split from your larger one here, if you were to take this one, would you be combining it with this other?
Yes, that's what I would like to combine that
Okay.
to make one entire.
Because otherwise, if this were to get sold, this would landlock.
Right,
this
yeah,
piece, but-
that wasn't
okay.
my intention.
Okay.
I want to combine that and have it basically be 1.2 acres.
Okay.
I think it's
That-
Put a
1.28.
deed restriction on that it can't be split, then?
I can't imagine. Where does the
You
line
can't
run
imagine?
along the
You've not been
property
here long
line?
enough.
The current property line?
The power line?
Yeah.
The power line is located right at the corner of what was Oak Street and Mulligan. That's where the three-phase is, and then it continues across the road. as a
Across
single
Morgan
phase,
or Oak?
Right in the middle of Oak.
Yeah.
But it is, it drops off below the property, but where it's mowed is perfectly buildable. And
But you
there's
have to have a
houses-
setback. I mean, you have
Yes.
from the right-of-way, how wide is the right-of-way, John?
for Oak Street,
25.
25, so it's not real.
25, so it
alley
has to
then.
be 50, or 37 from the middle of the street of the right-of-way?
I think it's 40.
correct, 12 and a half, 20, yes, 37 and a half.
Okay, so 37 and a half would be the closest. And,
From the sun.
You know, while we're at it, you might want to make sure that those parking places that are on that, that are right on the street could be moved also. Because they're kind of a nuisance there, on that garage he's going to
Well,
cut
the
down.
garage will be coming down
Yeah,
as part of the requirement.
I mean, but while we're looking at it, just a little bit of planning going on there, because in that particular location, it's not a very good sight line. You know, backing out onto Mulligan, apparently with 2 vehicles there is what it looks like to me. Or maybe they just swing around in Oak Street, who knows?
Oak Street's pretty wide there where it joins Mulligan. I mean, I don't think you'll ever be backing on to Mulligan. I really can't see how that would occur. I mean, it's a
live
very
there?
wide Y.
You live there?
Yes, I
Okay.
have that house.
So
And
we
I've parked trailers there, and I've never, ever backed into Mulligan.
we'll see.
It's just, it's very wide, and it's, my driveway and Abby's driveway, it wides out there quite substantially at
Right.
the bottom of Oak Street. It's not just a narrow road out, it's probably 75 feet wide.
Well, and I mean, once the accessory structure is taken down, I mean, anything that is built on those two lots would be further back than the accessory structure currently is, or I think even than your house is right now.
Correct.
Yes.
But he said 75 feet wide, and what does that pertain to? That-
What was the 75?
I think he's just talking about how wide the gravel is out where Oak intersects with Molly.
Right, yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's fairly
There's
wide
a-
there.
There's a barrier there too at the end,
No,
isn't there?
there's-
Used to be?
There's no barrier.
No barrier down below, by the highway?
No,
No?
You're talking
I
about the
think we might
ODOT
need to go out
property?
and look
'Cause,
at it again.
Yeah, there might be something here at the end, because it does drop off pretty considerable.
I mean, at ODOT, on the ODOT side, there's the ODOT fence.
There's a fence there,
But there's not a,
not that I know.
okay.
No,
I think
there's-
Curtis has one. Maybe
I
you're
know
thinking of
Curtis
that
has
one.
yeah.
But no, there's no Jersey barriers there, it's just, it's a 8-foot tall chain link fence, and there's a cliff there, it drops off, that's why ODOT, when they built the Cloverleaf, it came around there and they just fenced it off. My property butts right up to the state property.
Okay. Are there questions for Mr. Richmond?
I want to add, I didn't want to get it surveyed. The reason why we did it on the plat map is because surveying is very expensive, and this is
I know.
communications, and this is the
I know, but
preliminary.
Just want to know if it had a wing and a prayer first.
Right, I don't want to spend lots of money on a survey and have nothing happen of it.
Yeah, I mean,
You'll have better lots if you do it right.
I think with, again, with the understanding that the trapezoidal lot and the triangle lot would be combined, and I think it makes more sense.
Okay.
It's
Wouldn't that, is that adequate to split those, once you combine the trapezoid and the triangle, is that a splittable lot?
It appears to be, so
Okay,
at least
so we could end up with
width-wise.
3 houses on Oak rather than 2.
No,
No, it'd be two.
two.
It'd be 2.
Yeah.
He
Because
wanted to-
20.
Well, 3 counting 20, yes,
If-
if you're counting
yeah, if
20.
If I count 20.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he was saying if they split, if he would split the next owner, split the one that is combined lawn, couldn't he have another house on that?
If you took the trapezoidal and split it
Yeah.
parallel
I mean,
with the other
yeah.
split one,
Yeah.
yeah, very potentially could have 2 lots
He's
back
got
in
the
there.
width. I don't know if his lots.
Um,
Once again, in terms of setbacks and all the rest, what's the deal?
Well, if he did any lot splits, and then anybody wanted to build, they'd have to, we're looking at a different thing at that point, they'd have to meet the setbacks or request a variance. So,
Yeah, and so when it comes back, John, maybe you could tell us, in terms of our code and the requirements, are these going to be things that we will be sending to the zoning board? For the ones that are empty now? and
No, it's
stuff?
not the zoning board, actually, it's us.
Oh, no, I meant after he goes,
Council, right?
so he sells the lot, the person comes in, wants to build a house, but the house, but the lot is sloped. And
So they
then
might
it-
go get a variance
Yes,
for setbacks.
that
exactly.
would go to the zoning board, yes.
Yeah, that's what I was talking, are we creating a potential?
Seems like it's a flat enough area to get the setback in a house, in, but only time will tell. As long as the hill doesn't slide. All right.
I don't know if you got any guidance. Did you get enough guidance? We did a lot of talking here, but I don't know if you got anything clear.
talking. Well,
What do you
part
think
of it.
you should be doing at this point?
I would like to split it up basically as as I have shown on the plat map, and, we could combine the two trapezoidal lots, or to make the one lot one instead of 2, that would not be.
Don't say could, say will.
We will. Okay, we will do
That
that.
was one message from here
Yeah,
that you cannot
okay.
escape.
We
I think that's
we
very
will do
important.
that.
And then get it as a signed survey, and that's what is also needed for the application.
Correct,
But-
right.
All right.
Less than 5.
Okay,
And-
At 20, I have some concerns.
okay,
We'd like to be heard on this issue.
Okay.
you're in charge then. man.
All right, podium again.
I'm Abby Rouse. I live at 20, and my list of concerns, I think, has grown since I've been here. Initially, my first concern was just the address change, which for me is somewhat huge because A, it's going to be a monumentous headache trying to, mail and changing stuff with our insurance company and our mortgaging company. So that was my first concern. The other thing is I'm kind of worried, Mulligan Road is a well-known road. We wanted to buy on Mulligan Road, and that's why we bought the house, I mean, partially. If I'm suddenly on some side street that is, at this point, basically grass, what's that going to do to my home value? I think that's a reasonable question. What else did I had a whole list of concerns, and of course I'm kind of drawing a blank. But, I mean, I really am opposed to my 20 Mulligan address changing.
Right.
I don't
Well,
know.
I think the Plan Commission, we wouldn't be the ones making the recommendation to change the number. That would be something that's handled by the city entirely. Now, though saying that, I don't see a need to change your number because I think if numbers can be added, they can be along Oak Street and not at Mulligan. You know, there's really no point in changing numbers if nobody's buying any of these lots. Obviously, it hasn't been a problem for all this time. You know, who knows if it will become a problem. The other item is the right-of-way issue. I mean, half of that street is, for all intents and purposes, supposed to be cared for by your property.
I don't know, is that the agreement?
If it was a developed road and you had a maintenance agreement. As of right now, it's,
We don't
Just
have a
applied it.
maintenance agreement.
no, you don't right
Oh,
now.
I see, okay, so if it's, I
I mean,
apologize.
and he talked about the potential of shared maintenance between our house and potentially another house that could be built there. I'm also worried about the money that it's going to cost to bring that. I mean, if you go out and see that street, it is, I mean, it's not a road. It's grass with some gravel
Right,
on it,
right.
and it's got huge ruts in it. And I mean, that'd be a lot of out-of-pocket expense to even bring it up to something that we could continue to maintain from then on. And
And I don't, just so I can answer that for Andy's sake, it would not have to be developed probably any more than it is, and typically the maintenance agreement would be, you would be 50% responsible from the back edge of your driveway out to Mulligan, and the other party would be 50%, and then from that point back to wherever the new person's driveway would be, they would be responsible for that full 100%, because they're the only ones using it from that point back.
Okay.
So in essence, it wouldn't be any more of a maintenance than what you have right now if you have a pothole coming into that. So, same as what it is already.
Yeah, but I think her concern is there'd be, she doesn't, or from what I understand, you don't use it to access your property?
Well, as it is now, it's formerly Oak Street, comes right off of Mulligan, and ours sort of veers into it off of what used to be Oak Street.
And it's a garage, you have a garage there?
We have a garage.
Oh, I see,
that's-
okay.
No, that's his garage, actually.
No, I'm talking about to get to your house. You have to go onto the Oak to get to your house?
Yes, partially you'd have to veer onto it.
At least on the right-of-way.
Yeah. Right now, I mean, bottom part, top part, everything is a complete disaster. So regardless, even if we had to maintain the bottom half, we'd still have to, there's no maintenance agreement right now. I mean, we would have to, I'm
Right.
thinking resale too. You know, for my
Understood.
husband and I, this was kind of our starter home. We wanted to begin a family. We're starting to outgrow it. And, you know, I'm just concerned on all those levels, what it could mean for us down the road.
Okay, so your concerns go to the change of address and the shared use of the Oak or unimproved right-of-way there.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, him splitting his lot is, you know, for me, I wasn't really thinking about what that could potentially mean in the future for building. My immediate concern is, you know, the address change. And that, when I talked to him, that was kind of what was brought up, that probably what would have to happen in order for him to split his lots would be that we would no longer be a Mulligan Road address. We would turn to, you know, 1 Oak Street if that's what it becomes, and he would become 20 Mulligan. And I would think that everybody can imagine the headache that would come with
Right.
an address change. At this point, we've lived there for, you know, many years, and I hope to sell it still as 20 Mulligan.
Right, I mean, it's definitely one thing to have an address change, it's another thing to have your address go to your neighbor, which makes it even more confusing.
Who's making money on this?
right. Was there any other comments you wanted to share?
I'd like to also speak on the issue on behalf of Abby and her husband, Jonathan Sowash.
Okay.
A couple issues. 19 and a half Mulligan is right next door, already an existing address. I just know that because it used to be Mike Westfall's house.
Which 19 and a half? you said?
Across the street, you mean?
Yes.
Okay.
It's directly beside my house. So
Right next to 18? So
You got
it's-
an odd number on the even side of the street?
if you're
I don't even think that's spiritually-
18 and a half. 18 and a half.
Okay.
So if
Okay.
you're facing my property, it's to the left. So from the road, it's to the left.
Okay.
And I understand the concerns about splitting into half numbers, but I just wanted to point out it already exists. Secondly, Abby's property has 2 lots, not 1. Third, you should take a look at the former Oak Street. What we're dealing with here is the residual of the highway improvements from long ago. And if we look at the new code or changes, you aren't even supposed to have dead-end streets. If it is a right-of-way, the portion of it that Abby and her husband would maintain, they have been maintaining. In fact, there's so much grass there, they cut the grass on the right-of-way itself. They're the existing landowner that bought a property facing Mulligan. If change needs to happen because of changes sought by neighbors, then those neighbors ought to accept those changes, impose them on new owners who would willingly buy into the property, not on your adjacent owner. So
Right.
it's beyond just the hassle of changing one's address, because if your address is no longer Mulligan Road, but an unnamed right-of-way that used to be a road that was abandoned by the city because of construction, that now is grass and needs to be
I don't think it was
maintained,
ever an
that would
improved
be a
right-of-way,
mess.
yeah.
And that would be a devaluation of the property at 20 Mulligan. So we would ask that you, as you shape how to go forward, that you try to impose change as needed on the applicant seeking change for their own property and not on the neighbor next door. Thank you for hearing us.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. All right, any other comments? Questions?
I guess I have to go and look at the lay of the land there.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be nice to see that. I think we should all take a look, so I don't know how soon they'll be getting back as a case, so.
And I know it doesn't sound really
Does-
fun to change it from the other direction, from 38 towards 22, but, because as you say, we'll get out of sync with the opposite side, but, you know,
The only,
the numbers are there. I mean, you know, if I'm looking at it, you know, 38 says 36, 34, 30, 26 would be 28 at that point, I guess.
Either way, we're changing somebody, that's the,
Well, there's less house, yeah, true, yeah, but we're not changing the actual street, we're just changing a number.
yeah, I mean,
And most of those are empty lots on that side, too. So we in all cases, we'd be changing one person. getting
I
that.
looked to see if the owners of the 2 vacant lots in between 22 and 26 were owned by 26, and they're not. I was kind of
So they
hoping
were,
it was.
yeah,
Since
no,
he's the
but-
one that's got those 2 lots for sale, I thought, well, then we're going to change your address, but they're not owned by the same
Are there
person.
houses on those lots? No.
No, not right now.
Okay.
No, but 28 there is, or 26, I'm sorry.
26 there is, yes.
But the 2 parcels between 22 and 26 are currently for sale.
I guess we ought to get to them as soon as possible then. So if I'm looking at the houses right now, 38 exist. Looking at the ortho map, is that 38, the house next door, is that 36?
I could not tell you. It's
Looks like
probably
there's a second-
36, yeah, it's probably 36.
Okay, so we do have another house with a number there. That
number. I think we're still a number shy.
Unless that's the same house, Mayor, it may be.
34. Is it the same house?
I don't know. I'd
Okay.
have to look into that.
I have to go down and look at this place.
Yeah, I think,
I think the next step I need to do maybe is to talk to emergency services, police and fire in regards to the potential of having only 1 lot with its own address off of this Oak Street, if we were to leave 20 Mulligan as it was. that was kind of coming from them as well, with the driveway coming off of that, and the potential that what we said, of that trapezoidal lot being split in half, you know, maybe we can deed restrict it, but if Mr. Richmond sold it, somebody could come in and do that, as well as the fact that there's a platted lot that 20 owns to the rear of theirs. Well, so,
The 20, the back end, though, that couldn't be split because the setback would fall out, wouldn't it? If I'm looking at that ortho map again, and I know ortho maps aren't
Right.
territory, because it's just, you know, it's not always that accurate, but if I was to make a call on that, I'd say that lot would either be non-conforming in size, or the rear setback on 20 would be too...
but if it's an existing platted lot, our code allows for it.
Yeah, it'd be a,
If it's an existing platted
it'd
lot
be
of
get a
record.
variance for the fact.
You're talking about
But
the
it
one
wouldn't have
between 18
frontage
and
either,
20?
would it?
Yeah.
Hill, though.
Yeah, I
it
know,
wouldn't have
I know.
well, apparently that's some other street that cuts back there, I don't know what
Aren't
that
those
is.
strips all ODOT along there? Because that's a steep slope.
Yes, those are all ODOT owned. We're-
And that right-of-way is of no substance, the one that goes to the left
No.
and then over.
Mhm.
So the only thing, I mean, that other line where the vegetation changes is,
In reality, the
Effectively
rear of
forward.
20 would never be built either. That goes
No.
straight
But
down.
to the-
doesn't it?
My understanding, though, is that the lot right next to us, we could
Yes.
sell off to somebody. And so that's the other
This
thing,
one
we would
right
have one lot on Mulligan and one lot, we didn't really have intentions of doing that, but
between 18, yeah, she does have one there, doesn't she? Looks
Mhm.
like.
Wait, where?
Between 18 and 20.
Oh, that 18 and a half is owned by you?
um,
Isn't 18 and a half part of 18 and there's a separate lot?
the address is 18 and a half to where the West
check,
Wolves used to
sorry.
live, I'm not sure. Okay, so we're 20, this right here is actually ours.
Okay.
18 shares a driveway, and it splits off in two different directions, but we own this and this right here. I think under, when I looked it up on the county auditor's website, it's currently listed as 0 Mulligan, but it is a
Right.
separate
Separate lot,
It's
okay.
a separate lot. And I know our real estate agent, when we bought it, said, she looked into it, she said, if you wanted to someday, you could sell this. So,
Okay.
Okay.
so that's another thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I do believe we are probably confusing some issues and like what the applicant is requesting and what is our jurisdiction. But a lot of times there are these only times that these things can get voiced and on the record. So at the same time, I think it's important that everything is said.
To vote on it.
Yeah, exactly. But I guess I would probably, again, next step for the applicant is the survey. John, any other comments?
Nope.
All right.
And John, you're going to check with the 911 or...
I would check with 911, police, fire, if they are opposed to having just one address off of Oak Street and leaving 20 as is.
Okay.
You know, if they're not opposed to it, then I think, you know, I can relay that information to Mr. Richmond. I can't say whether they are or not right now.
And they don't have any requirements that the right-of-way is improved, right?
It's a platted, approved right-of-way now. I mean,
Okay.
maybe not meeting city standards, obviously, but it is.
Well, would
platted.
police
Saying
go down-
approved, but you're saying improved, you're saying approved.
Yeah, I'm not saying approved, I'm saying like the fact that it's not paved or anything, would the police go down?
Right. We've got those all over town.
Okay, that's all I'm trying to get.
Or,
But most of them aren't used by fire and police.
correct.
Okay.
But this would have to be, if someone were to,
Well, same with those other ones. If there was a house behind another house that has one of these gravel accesses off of a main road, if they had to go down it, they could and would.
Also, I think the way it's structured in our Athens City Code is that if there's two streets, the larger of the two streets is where the address goes, not the access of the actual house. So in other words, 20 Mulligan versus which is probably a 40-foot right-of-way versus 25. I mean, technically, I live on Mary Street, but Mary Street is unimproved of my section. And I really, at the corner of an alleyway and the corner of Mary. But if you were going to say which one looks more improved, it's probably the alleyway. So, but there's no name to that alleyway.
Right.
Okay? Now, this one may have a name, but the fact is, I think that if you're trying to say which one is more substantial, I think the addressing goes to that one. I think it's in a lot of record section of 23, I think. It's been a while since I've looked at
Into
that.
that.
I think there's a title, the way there's a setup of how it's done. So to say we're going to move one over to Oak, whatever it is, that's a little bit, you'd also change front setbacks and rear setbacks, wouldn't it? Side setbacks.
Right now,
It's a corner lot?
it'd be a corner lot, so.
Okay.
Good, let's say something else.
Sure. Closing comments, maybe?
I just wanted to know if I could get maybe some better clarification of getting the survey done, because I'm a little leery of spending, $3,000 for the survey, or $3,000 or $4,000 for the lot above the existing house, and then me coming to the planning commission and it being not approved for the variance of the 3-to-1 depth ratio, because it is a long lot. I mean, is there any way to get some better clarification that I will get the variance on that, or?
Well, the 3-to-1 depth ratio is that lot on Mulligan, not the ones on Oak Street that we've been
Right.
discussing the most. And, I mean, I think it's the fact that you have, all the adjacent lots have that same issue. So, in all likelihood, I would think the planning commission would grant a variance for that type of situation.
I think it's been done actually further up near 90 Mulligan too. There was a
Okay.
lot split a couple of years ago there where I think the ratio was off as well.
Okay,
That whole street has a lot of these long, deep lots.
right,
I
correct.
don't know why the design is such, but it's been that way. So I don't see that as being, such a precedent.
Okay.
You're really getting an opinion of two different people here, two of five, okay?
Right, right.
Yeah.
And there's still one more, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And therefore, we're not really, this is communication, not a vote, but it sounds like it's not that unusual.
Okay.
No.
Thank you.
Nancy, you want to put your 2 cents in?
No, I'm,
Okay, I didn't think so.
You got to go to council, too.
Yes, council too.
All right, no more comments on the lot split. We do have one other item, it's a pre-application for Monticello Chalo's co-location of the existing tower. Let's see, I think there was a packet information.
It's in the back part of the That's all, actually, that's also the code ordinance that we changed for telecommunications, which was done just this year. How about that?
The applicant is not present,
Okay.
for the record.
have they paid their money?
They have not, because they haven't applied yet. This is supposed to be a pre-application meeting by code. They're
Okay.
supposed to meet beforehand.
I was liking
The applicant is from Akron. He was aware of the meeting this evening, or this afternoon. Haven't been in communication with him for over 10 days, but he was aware of the date and the time, and that he would be on the agenda, so.
Nice to know he takes it seriously.
Are you knowledgeable enough on this item to speak to it, or should we postpone?
I'm about as knowledgeable as the plans.
Let's postpone then.
That's fine with me.
Yeah, I don't think it's... Fortunately, Wi-Fi towers are a little bit above my pay grade to have a...
All they're doing is, I can't tell you what the plans involve. It's adding one co-location to an existing tower, and then at the base of the tower, adding equipment area for their co-location. That's all there is to it. So the tower as it exists right now, this is your tower, and this is what's being added. Everything else already exists.
Oh, I see, okay.
And then if you look on the plans, the plans here. they'll
compound
be
plan.
Adding this section right here.
Where, could you point again on your, okay, I see.
Yeah, this right here where there's that hashed line,
Prefabricated radio
all that is new.
equipment shown.
It's a very nice scene, this way. This way, not so much.
Yeah, it's a beautiful view up there.
Yeah, but looking at
It is.
I just wondered if they're going to do anything to make it look a petunias? I don't know, something.
Well,
It's a pretty isolated spot if you've been up there. It's already separated by a fence from the drive.
Okay.
And then you have to drive about 75 or 100 yards to
So
actually
in other
reach the
words,
base.
it doesn't matter what it looks like.
Yeah.
And the main reason why we're seeing this is because the new cell tower legislation we put in
That
place
is correct.
requires anybody to come to us when they want to do another addition.
And that's what I was going to throw out to you, since this is the first one, and to be this pre-application meeting, maybe what our process wants to be. The thing I noticed the most is the 43.08. There's a priority ranking of 1 through 7, that maybe at the pre-application meeting, you ask the applicants why they are the priority that they are. Maybe that's a good question for them when they're here. This would be, I think, I figured out a priority 2.
So wait a second, you're saying 43?
4308, location of wireless telecommunications facilities.
Page 14.
Right. Why
okay.
could they not do 1?
Correct.
Okay, and this is an addition to a pre-existing tower?
That's correct.
Okay.
The applicant is aware that they need to provide more extensive documentation than the blueprints that they've given.
Okay.
I've gone over that by email exchange.
And if you look at the packet, I think, okay.
Yeah, it seems like they'd have to increase the size of the fence.
The footprint itself, you mean?
No, the height.
Oh,
Because
you
they
mean,
got to screen their equipment, and right now the equipment's not being screened. And I sort of look at this as a non-conforming use, but once you make the improvement, you have to correct the...
That's what I was getting at, so I, okay.
What was that?
Well, it looks like that if they put any new equipment down below, that, I'm looking at that prefabricated radio equipment shelter, that they'll have to either replace the fence or extend the fence because they have to screen.
Yes.
And right now, if you look at the photos you provided, it's not being screened adequately.
That might just be something they have to work out with the owner of the tower.
Yeah.
So I guess that's the only comment I would really make, and then why are they not doing number
I think
one?
what may not be revealed here, though, is that this is a second screening. It's already screened off by a gate at the end of the driveway.
On the apartment complex?
Apartment complex. There's already a screened
This is
10 or
just
12-foot
a
fence.
safety.
Yeah,
fence,
this
more
is
or less,
safety.
not a-
So there's already a screened fence
I see.
that's locked,
Yeah, I think maybe then
and
they
then you
just
drive
need to,
fast through that.
they just need to extend the plans.
They need more detail.
Yeah.
You're completely right.
And this is not a pre-application hearing, right?
This is not.
This is not.
Just a communication.
They're not present.
Yeah,
It's
why would
supposed
we
to
do
be a
that?
pre-application meeting with the applicant and the planning commission, so,
They don't think it's important enough to come, then
yeah,
so be it.
okay.
busy people.
Yeah, I guess if they're not going to be here, they need to provide a narrative of number one, and they have to provide better
Right.
plans to really apply.
I'll recommend to put them on the, I'll communicate with the applicant, recommend that they try to come to the September 5th meeting, if that works.
Okay.
I mean, I guess the reason we have someone come is it speeds the process up. Now, they can do it this way too, and it can just be where we say we need an answer for one and we need plans, and then maybe we get an answer for one and we don't get plans, and then we say, well, now we need plans.
Right.
It's just up to them. You know, I don't think you have to be present to apply for things. It just makes things go a lot quicker.
Yeah,
Just
relay a
don't
question and answer
yeah.
every 2
Right.
weeks.
Yeah, just don't complain that it's too slow if you can't
Yeah.
show up.
That's,
Okay.
I have a comment on this, just a quick question.
go ahead.
If I may.
Podium, please.
My name is Russell Chamberlain, and I'm a real estate broker and own the Athens Real Estate Company. I didn't even know this was on the agenda, and I just so happens that I'm representing a client in the sale of vacant land that's directly below the cell tower. and that is currently under contract, and we're working through some water supply issues with the buyer. And the buyer has, the particular buyer that wants to put a house there is doing a green building, and he's already taken equipment out there and spent some money actually measuring signals coming off the tower, and that's been a particular concern of his. So just, I'll get a copy from Paul later, I guess, of this, and he's clearly going to show up here and be here next time this goes through. But just because I kind of missed the beginning of it and kind of woke up when I understood what this was about, and I happen to be involved with this personally, this is a second tower? Is that what's being?
No, it's the same tower,
It's the same
just
tower.
adding another
Adding to the
transmitter
existing.
receiver on it.
Adding more transmitter receivers.
Yeah,
Actually,
it'd
have a
be
copy.
lower.
You
Yeah.
can take that? Okay, that'd be great. Okay.
Yeah, it looks like it'd be about 15 feet lower than the current highest one, so.
You can keep this. Yeah, this exists, they're just adding that.
Okay, any other comments on Monticello Chalmers? Any communications
Adding
you'd like
some area to
to
the base.
send towards Akron?
For some more detail, and show up.
All right, any other communications? All right, moving on, reports from our city planner and director of code enforcement and development.
You included in your packets, I did put a brief summary together about the rezoning request for the Far East Side, just to remind everybody of that request. I have had several people ask about that again, so whether the planning commission's planning to put that back on the agenda.
I'd like to soon. I did put together one that I just had time to print off one, and I'll send PDFs to everyone as well of kind of from that meeting, making the revisions that seem to be most requested. I do appreciate you providing the non-conforming use diagram as well, because there were, I'd caught most of them, but there were a couple that I didn't see that would become if it would change to an R2 or change from a B3, et cetera. So I think that would be something that, barring any cases or workload like today, that we should put back on the agenda soon. So, go ahead, sorry to interrupt you, Paul.
That's all right. Just a few other notes. The city was recently notified by ODOT that we were selected for funding in our Transportation Alternatives Program. We were awarded a maximum of $735,000 in grant funds in order to build a bike path spur over the Hocking River to connect the bike path with Columbus Road. So we've been awarded funding to move forward with that. That was a major component of the bicycle and pedestrian plan, so we are, it's a pretty detailed project, of course. It's building a bridge over a river, so there's a lot of issues that come involved with FEMA and its floodplain, of course, yeah. So it'll be a pretty significant project once we get underway, but we're very encouraged because ODOT's willing to foot the bill for 80% of the cost, up to $735,000. So
this won't take place till 20. I don't think we can start spending for another.
Yeah, I believe 2015 or 2013, Mayor.
Okay, I think it's
federal funds through the Transportation Alternatives Program in state fiscal year 2015.
Okay, so we can't. Nothing's going to happen till then.
Right, we'll be doing some of the nuts and bolts.
Yeah,
yeah.
Also, the Lomar.
Yes, thank you. The Hickory Creek Nursing Home Project, we just received notification last week from FEMA that the letter of map removal for that project was approved, and so the actual nursing home is no longer in the floodplain as classified by FEMA. So that was also a very long project that took to get approved.
If you remember, it was a conditional map.
Conditional letter of map removal.
Yeah. Revision, removal, is that how it is? Okay.
Removal,
okay.
Yeah.
How many feet is it above the 100-year floodplain?
I'm not sure, but technically it's not in the floodplain, so it doesn't matter where it is, how many feet above.
Though.
Yeah, it's physically, that structure is no longer on the map as being in the floodplain.
Oh, I see.
It's not about being elevated above it and still being in it, which most of our projects in the city are.
Right, that's, okay.
Yeah.
It was not even in where the.
Right.
Okay.
It was a modification of the floodway too,
Yes.
wasn't it? Okay.
Yeah. that's the whole reason you have to go through that if the development's in the floodway, you have to get a letter of map removal. It's not just about elevating, it's about
Right.
dealing with the issues to make sure that you're not increasing flood risk downriver.
Right.
So, I've been working with the Athens County Housing Coalition. We received a grant about a year ago to do a housing needs assessment study for Athens County. We have that in a draft stage. There was a housing consulting organization out of Columbus that provided that study for us. That's in a draft stage with an executive summary of about 25 pages that I do expect we'll have in final stage in September or early October. I did ask possibly one of the members of the Housing Coalition to possibly present to the Planning Commission just about some of the key bullets from that study as it focuses on the needs for low to moderate income housing in Athens County, so as well as in the city, and it discusses the complexity of doing that type of housing in Athens city limits because of the constant competition with the demand for off-campus student housing rents. So I'll keep it brief, that's it.
John, any comments?
I'll keep it brief as well. Last night was the Board of Zoning Appeals meeting. We had 3 cases, technically 2. First one was an interpretation for 234 West Washington Street, where the applicant felt that maybe I misinterpreted his denial.
This is the West End Tavern?
The West End Tavern structure, the old West End Tavern building. The board found unanimously that I did rule correctly in my denial. So then at the next step, they requested a variance for parking for that structure, and they did receive that variance with 10 parking spaces on site and 4 others being leased in all likelihood at the fairgrounds to accommodate the required parking for that structure. There's a proposal for a restaurant to go in on the first floor of the old West End Tavern. Second case was 2 Alexander Avenue. That's the Habitat site where the city donated the property to Habitat a year ago or so, and they requested to move the structure closer to the street. Rear yard setback was not acceptable by doing so, but their request was because of the grade and the hillside behind it, and that variance was approved 5-0 as well. So.
What was the distance they were requesting? It's not 25?
They requested 13 feet. And the structure is kind of an L shape in front, so they'll have their 20 feet for a car to sit in front of their 1-car garage to give them their 2 parking spaces that are required. But the front porch of the house will be 13 foot off of the property line, where 25 is required.
Is the, going back on the first case, the West End Tavern, is that what's across from the plumbing supply?
Yeah.
Yes.
University Commons.
How does the fairgrounds, can you get leased parking there and that work for that location? It seems like, is that by how the crow flies, the distance, or is it, I mean,
Well,
there's no
either way,
way
it was over, 250 feet is the maximum amount, so it was like 750 feet as the crow flies.
That's for the residential?
But it's what they in all likelihood will do, and it was conditioned upon the variance that 6 of the spaces said for residential use and 4 for the business, so it's
yeah, because I
be
just
for-
couldn't see as a business how you would be able
No,
to
it'll
get
be
that
for the tenants upstairs will actually be the ones who have to lease
Right, which
at the fairgrounds.
Yeah, I guess you'd work off the calories just to walk in.
Wow. Where am I supposed to park?
I suspect there'll be people parking on Schaefer there. in all
Yeah.
honesty.
Not anyone doing the right thing. Okay. Any other comments, John?
Other than school starts next week, university coming back, so a little earlier, and I put out a notice, a PSA for the mayor today, that for the landlords to adhere to the new sign ordinance on the rental signs going in the front yard, which I suspect we'll be seeing popping up for encouragement to get tenants to sign a lease a year early the way they do. So
They do it.
So we will be on top of that.
Should win an award first one to sign a lease for the next year, maybe.
Sorry.
You could give out an award for the first landlord.
I imagine it's already been done.
I'm sure it has, yeah.
Nice. All right. Anything else?
No.
All right. Thank you. Any announcements?
How about
Opportunities for citizens to speak, Russell, Sarah, any other questions?
Unfortunately, I do have something to say.
That's fine. You earned it.
Waiting it out, thanks. My name is Russell Chamberlain. I will be brief. I'm here without representation. I don't have an architect here, I don't have a lawyer here, I don't have anybody here except for myself, but I'm here just to voice my frustration and to try to get a better sense before I leave here today as to what I'm supposed to do to proceed with the project that I've been working on for some time. The project is on Fern Street. It's an alley that runs between East State Street and North Court. The entire alley, with the exception, I think, of one office where Michael Kleiman keeps his rental office, is entirely student housing, I believe without any exception. I've been in the process over the last year of buying 2 parcels on land contract that my intention was to develop into student housing comparable to others that have been built on that same alley. So I've engaged the services of an architectural firm. We have the plans. We're ready to go. I've followed somewhat closely what happened with Bellavino. This is Zone B3, the area in Fern where I'm trying to do the Zone B3.
That's crazy.
So,
Why'd you put a business on?
my question is pretty fundamental. I've spent quite a bit of money thus far, quite a bit of time, energy proceeding as though I could do off-street parking there. I don't want to do a complete underground parking deck. I'm finding a way to avoid that if I can. I wanted to just do pull-in parking. But the fundamental question, of course, that keeps coming up is whether or not in this zone you must have a business on the first floor. There are no other businesses on the first floor on Fern. I think the second company or second project that went through Title 41 was actually on Fern. It was a building built by Bart Kassler at the end of Fern, 23-unit apartment complex. It's the red one with red siding, has underground parking. I think he got maybe a couple setback variances and that sort of thing. Went through without a hitch, approved, built, currently occupied, a reasonable development that meets a lot of the city's expectations around density for student housing downtown. So the fundamental question for me, I was supposed to come here on the 1st of August. I was supposed to come here today. I'm trying to figure out when I can come and really what the position is at this point on the record of the Planning Commission in regards to B3 and how we're going to deal with this B3 issue. I have not rented. There are currently 2 old falling down piece of crap duplexes on the property that I intended to raise this fall. I haven't rented them. This is personal, but I'll just say it. It has an economic impact on just me personally. So they're not rented. So now I'm scrambling, to get these things rented at the last minute. Clearly, I cannot begin construction this fall. I haven't even been before you folks yet. So the question is just fundamental, and it's in the paper every other week. What is the position in regards to mercantile habitation on the first floor in a B3 zone? And what is somebody like me who is trying to plan years in advance supposed to do? I can sit down, but unless you have questions.
You said on Fern. What are the numbers of Fern? What are they exactly?
18 and 8, it's a duplex, so 18 and 18 and a half and 20 and 20 and a half. It's right behind Carpenter Hall.
Okay.
Who did you buy them from? Ida Palat?
Yeah, Russell, maybe
I'm
just
buying
stay
them
on.
on land contract from Dan Johnson, who was the previous owner.
How many pieces are left on Fern?
Parcels? Or-
Yeah, how many
I don't think there are any parcels.
that are left to do what you're doing? How many more are we going to see of this?
I can't predict what other people are going to do or what the future might hold. I don't know. I mean, in terms of how many are falling, I mean, probably these 2 properties are probably, I would say, in the worst condition. Most of the others are developed, and many of them have been developed before a lot of the current zoning laws, so they have first-floor apartments.
Yeah, and Baldino's Pizza was there, and before that, there was a glass place there, and there have
I
been
think
businesses.
the plumbing
on
place was there
Fern.
too.
Well, Strong Plumbing and Beal Glass were the same, and that's where that was replaced, and that was the second, I think, project that went through
The
Title
elec-
41.
Yeah, and then there's a cleaning company was back there. I think they've moved out too.
I think they're all gone. I think all the old businesses are gone, and they've all
Well,
been
that's
replaced.
what happens, right? when, you get all this congestion and so on and so forth. It's probably,
It's a tight roadway.
what?
It's a tight roadway.
I know.
Fern Street is.
But,
It's not Court Street. Again, what we're seeing is we've got this legislation that says no residential on the first floor, and we
Right.
don't consider required parking at this, well, it depends. I know there was a split vote on that, but, the take is required parking for a business portion of it.
Right, well, again, I don't think it's why we're going through the whole effort of trying to change the zoning in business is because I don't think it clearly says that commercial has to be on the first. It clearly states
residential, yes, yeah.
has to be on the second floor in a B3, but it doesn't clearly state commercial has to be on the ground floor or on the first floor or second or third or it doesn't sort of state that. So where I sort of sided with it was that it, by the letter of the code, no, you don't have to have a commercial at all, but if you're going to have residential, it has to be on the second floor. So I didn't
But
read
the assumption here is that one B3 zoning fits all, and there's a difference between Court Street, which we could have the same thing.
Yeah, and that's a
difference
problem.
between Fern,
Right.
difference between Stimson.
Right.
but we're really lucky because he has a whole year within which he will be acting out his existing rental. And then by that time, certainly by June or July, or even by February, March, we will know what we're going to do, if anything. to
Well, I
change
can
it.
inform you that he has made the application to me for this proposal, and they were hoping to go through Title 41, but I informed the architects, and Nicholas, you'll probably have to abstain from all this because it's your company that's doing it. I have informed that in all likelihood, based on the ruling from the law director in that last case, that I was looking to refuse this and send it to the BZA. So I can understand why Mr.
So he has a
Franklin's here
pathway
today.
already established. He goes to BZA first, right?
And I've yet to review if there are any other variances requested yet. I have not looked at the drawings yet to determine if there's setbacks or anything. I do not know.
But he just said to us that he has it already rented for this year.
No, I said I do not have it rented.
Oh, I thought you said you
Yeah.
were screwing around looking for tenants.
I'm going to begin advertising it tomorrow, but then also, again,
No
the rent,
signs.
the rental,
I'm teasing you, I'm sorry.
I know, that's all right. The rental season, though, you remember, begins the first week of school. So again, the time to rent for the following year, you're suggesting that I have this great luxuriousness of time, but there isn't a great luxuriousness of time.
We understand that, I think. I do
Time's of the essence, actually. And again, I'm fairly far along in the process, and given the fact that an entirely comparable project was approved and built, and no questions or red flags were ever brought up, at the end of Fern Street, at 31 is the address, 31 Fern, there it is. I mean, there's the evidence that it was done. And so I'm trying to understand what the difference is now. And the difference, I guess, is that the city law director has weighed
Yes.
in and made a ruling.
You have the
on
city
it.
law director, you have a vocal opponent of it outside of the city jurisdiction. I mean, so the media is interested in it.
Right.
So it's,
Yeah. But just to clarify, so, I mean, what I thought I understood the mayor to say is that there could potentially be a difference in opinion of interpretation around B3 on Court versus B3 on another street.
well, that's the other issue that I think the mayor is bringing up is, B3 right now is one size fits all when we have very distinct business areas that's, Stimson's different from Court, that's then different than Fern, but yet they all receive the exact same zoning and setback regulations.
And that's a difficult call. I mean, look
Yeah.
at all, that's all what, that'd be the brown over here. Is that what we're looking at right there? Everything there? So it covers quite a bit of
Yeah.
swaths there. And there's a lot of difference between all those different sections, whether it's East State Street, Stimson, or as you say,
Yeah,
the
not
North Court
Streets.
area.
Yeah, North.
Which we brought up before,
Yeah, we've tried to change North Court area, and I believe that would have definitely have impacted Fern and changed into B2D.
The trouble is,
But it should have.
what?
People who,
It should have, yeah.
But the city council did not approve that.
Okay,
and the
but
city council does approve.
what I'm hearing from John is
Or
the
it doesn't.
pathway would be to actually get it refused, go to a BZA. Is that what I'm hearing?
That's what you're hearing.
Okay, I don't know how well you could make a case for the BZA. I mean, their interior, each case is by itself. Even though you could refer to 31 Fern as an example of where it's been approved, and was a different, it's a different case in time. I don't know how, to go through the findings and say this is a conditional variance is given, that may be a little bit more
You never
difficult.
know what they'll do.
What?
You don't know what they'll do, Paul,
No,
right?
no.
We've both been on it, we know, you never know.
Yeah, I'm surprised all the
They're a
time.
citizen board.
We have a good idea.
But the other thing is, I have, on Halloween, patrolled that area as a citizen, and it is very densely settled, and your area, Fern Alley. And, if the people have any experience with it, which they probably don't, is your property right behind Carpenter, below that parking lot, or where is it?
Part of it's behind Carpenter. Actually, if you go through the back of Carpenter Hall parking lot, it's the two structures that are, it's actually in the back of the Methodist church that just put in like a fellowship center, where the yoga studio is on the front on Carpenter. It's directly behind that building. I think it used to be an old car dealership.
Okay.
Yeah.
Those are wooden houses, right? If I remember.
They're wooden houses.
Yeah,
Wooden,
okay.
yeah, wooden
They're
frame.
they're a little bit
Sounds
elevated
A
above.
little bit elevated, yeah, they're elevated. Again, we have, a complete set of plans. They're interesting, contemporary.
Too
probably
bad,
better-
you're sort of already anxious about it, and I think you just have to play it out in the new reality. I mean, you pay your money and you go and talk to the zoning board and see what they say.
Talk to someone who?
The zoning
Oh, the
board.
zoning
board.
Yeah, I mean, because we'll just stop there because the new reality is here. And
So the planning commission doesn't have anything to do or any jurisdiction around really the question at hand, around the interpretation
Well,
of
the
B3.
initial-
most of the time we do review these, and we'll usually say, you have to, get a variance or something like that, and then it goes back to the BZA. So I think in the new world order, it's the law director is now looking at all of these applications. And
Until
it's-
it's clarified based
Yeah.
on the decision of the law director, I think every one of them's got to be treated individually, and each one's going to have grounds for approval or denial.
And, and the past is the past, and right now you just make your good case on this one. I'm improving that area, or whatever you're using.
Okay, thank you.
But, I mean, again, BZA did grant the variance, so, just of late, so, I mean, it's, you don't know, again, we can't,
The elegance of your argument.
right. We can't tell you how they'll side, but, recent precedent, besides 31, has shown that.
Belladino.
Yeah, so, all right,
Okay, thanks.
thank you. All right, any other comments, questions, announcements and other business? We are planning on meeting the 5th of September here. If we don't really have items on the agenda, I would like to put the Far East Side neighborhood rezoning request on the agenda.
Could we just do R1 and deal with that one first?
The
R2 to R1?
just look at it one.
Piecemeal.
change. Yeah, sure.
Because I think there's some business, like I do believe I've heard from maybe the mayor, maybe from Paula, that there's a request for a car dealership rezoning too, and maybe, that one could be.
I think during the public hearing we had at the community center, Larry Shea was talking about trying to change his
Right, and
backlots
and
to-
that's a separate,
to a
yeah.
business, from R2 to a business. if I
And
remember.
that could be done as part of this, but I don't think it's ready,
Okay.
if that's,
Well, we'll look at it piece by piece like that, but we won't, again, vote on any action till it's a whole. Because I could see where we could say, yeah, these R2 should be changed to R1s, and then we'll get back and and then we'll get into one of the businesses. One of the business, that should be an R1 too or something. I don't know, I mean, just,
we're doing with one zone first, and then we'll do B3
Yeah.
next, and then do them all at once?
and then once we'll have the complete.
not-
Actually, again, remember, this goes as recommendation to council.
Right.
So we can, and they can,
I don't want to confuse council, I guess.
oh,
Oh, don't worry about council, they can figure it out.
spoken
They
from
knew
a
enough
council
to
person.
do something with your B2D.
Yeah, it's a
They
shame.
haven't figured out what they're capable of doing, what they're supposed to be doing officially.
Well, as soon as we do, we can tell them.
All right.
So you need a motion to adjourn?
Well, again, yeah, so we'll look at that, if you got that sharp, by one zoning change at a time. Okay.
That's his dictum, but we could actually, if we had enough people, vote to send the one forward. I mean,
Okay.
I'm not really excited about the other business changes. As long as we heard all that crap, I just didn't let it sit. I said crap, I'm sorry. Excuse me. I really have to go talk to my,
All right, any other
Plumber.
comments, questions?
I thought you had to go talk to your priest.
I don't talk to priests anymore.
We're now adjourned.